minutes until the start of racing. If you look to the big screen now, there's just 50 seconds left until we go to the live stream around the world, where we'll be catching up on the highlights of the morning, the racing to the 8 finals and the quarterfinals. We dropped our first gate at 3:16 this afternoon. Donc, 5 minutes, mesdames, messieurs, les grands...
Ready? Watch the game.
So hello and welcome to the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. It's round number 2 from Sarrians, this amazing track that's laid out in front of us here, home to rounds 1 and 2 of the 6-round series that moves on from Sarrians to Papendal and then to Santiago del Estero to round out what is going to be a fantastic set of races. My name's Mark Payne. I'm down here in the studio with Rich Eames, and we've seen some amazing racing from our riders on what is a fantastically prepared track in a region that is packed full of history and a real place to come and visit if you're a cyclist or if you are just coming downtown, visit and experience some of the French culture. Avignon just down the road, 25 kilometres down towards the south, based on the River Rhone, the mighty river flowing from the Alps down to the Mediterranean, a further 100 kilometres away from Sarrians and the city of Avignon. And that river, the floodplains around it, really representative of some of the lows some of our riders have been experiencing. The region dominated by Mont Ventoux in the distance, and Ventoux, that high mountain that really affects the weather here, representative of the highs that have affected our riders. Real highs and lows, Rich, here today. So far, it's been a real mixed bag of results for people in what is increasingly warm weather and increasingly breezy today.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit breezy and the weather's been red hot, but so has the racing. We've seen some good mix-ups. It's going to be good racing.
So as the wind blows, hopefully we'll keep that dust down on our track here at Sarrians.
Bonjour à tous, Joris Audet, on est ici à Sarrians dans le sud de la France pour la première et la deuxième manche de la Coupe du Monde UCI 2025 et je vais vous faire découvrir la piste tout à l'heure. And here we are in the first jump, so it's a 10-meter long jump. They brought it specially for the Olympic Games, so they made the same jump at Paris Olympics, which a lot of people came to train here. So yeah, that's a big jump, 10-meter long, and it's the start of the track here. It's a very small first straightaway. It's not very long compared to most of the track. It's going to be a game of being precise on the first jump, and then yeah, I think the inside also here is going to be a big advantage. So it will be a good thing to keep the inside gate today. So the second straight, you're going to have to be very precise. You're going to have a lot of speed out of the first turn since the straight is on the right side now. And here we are at the pro section here with a 3.2 meter double, 10 meter long. So yeah, that's one of the biggest jump of the track. Going to be very important to minimize the mistake and keep your speed here on the second straight. It's going to be a very technical straight, and I think we're going to see a lot of passes here. Okay, so after the turn 2, you have the third straight. It's a normal track after that. You have to keep your momentum. If you do a little mistake, you lose a lot of speed, and somebody can pass you. So it's going to be, yeah, you're going to have to minimize all the mistakes, keep your speed, and keep your momentum going into the last turn. The last straight, it's a long last straight, so you have to stay focused, keep a little bit of energy, to finish the straight fast. And yeah, usually it's a good last straight. We saw a lot of passes last year, and it was good moment for me with all the French fans. So hopefully this year will be the same.
And Rich, whilst I may have been saying we need to keep the dust down because it is windy and it's going to be blowing, we have got very long last straight here. So if depending on that direction, that's going to be changing and seeing where the riders go, how fast they get there. So this is round 2 of the 2025 UCI BMX Racing World Cup. We're coming to you from Sarrians in the southeast of France. And after round number 1, these are the standings in the men's elite competition, with Arthur Pielard leading by 70 points from Isaac Kennedy, who was second in round number 1. Sylvain Andre in third place. The real fast riding, some strong riding in round 1. And we're starting to see similar patterns starting to emerge in the men's elite.
Yes, certainly are. The racing was absolutely superb yesterday, and there was some things that we would have expected and things that we didn't. Arthur Pielard just being right up there, taking his first World Cup win, and Mathis Rago-Richard making his first World Cup final and coming inside the top 5.
In the women's elite, that was a very different sort of story, really, because Bethany Schraver in round number 1, not on the kind of form, not that superb acceleration, not necessarily being the rider that we would expect from her, and even riders like Saya Sakakibara are expected hot favourite, knows the track inside out, and yet for her low is most people's high, and that's reflected in terms of the standings in the women's elite as well.
Yeah, it's Saya just had one of those days yesterday. She ended up in second spot. Bethany didn't make it out of the quarter-final, so it'll change. All change today. Round number 2.
So the riders are going to be making their way in and through a full weekend of racing here at Sarrians, and rounds 1 and 2. It's a double weekend, and it really does put the riders under pressure if they haven't performed in round 1 to perform in round 2. And we've got 4 World Cups within 9 days. That's going to take its toll. We're going to be travelling from Sarrians. It's going to be 1,100 kilometres right the way up to the top, so 1,100 k travelling north to Papendal, another of those classic tracks. And we're going to see if Saya Sakakibara can improve on what was a second place.
Yeah, certainly, definitely. It's Saya Sakakibara, the second in the standings, behind Zoe Claessens, the European champion. Molly Simpson in there in third, with Laura Smulders in 4. But as we go through round number 2 and into Papendal, that's definitely going to change.
And problems for Nadine Eberhard as well. We've seen earlier on. We'll probably come back to that a little bit later on in the show. But realistically, some great results. Layla Walker going through. We saw her looking very, very strong. And Molly Simpson's on fire today.
Yeah, we did. Layla Walker riding well, taking a 5th spot. Exactly what the New Zealand rider wanted in that first round.
I'm Zoe Claessens, I'm Olympic bronze medalist, and I'm training at the World Cycling Center. 2024 was a very good year. I started with the World Cup in New Zealand, not very good. I didn't race as expected. And then I won the 2 World Cup in Brisbane. And then I did second at the World Championship in Rock Hill, first at the European Championship, and then I did third at the Olympics, so yeah, it was very good. Yes, the Olympics were very special, as it was in Paris. All my family was there in the stands, and yet to do third place at the Olympics, it was very incredible for me. Riding at the World Cycling Center is very good for me, as it's in Switzerland, very close from my home. So I'm close to my family, and at the same time I have a very good place to train, a lot of good athletes in track cycling, BMX and roads. And yeah, it's always good to be in an atmosphere with a lot of athletes. It's always a lot of motivation for me. I started to be at the World Cycling Center when I was, I think, 19. And yeah, I had a very good coach and I started to have a good level. From there, I'm still at the World Cycling Center, and yeah, it's helped me a lot and I really enjoy to be there. Yeah, for me, the most important at the World Cycling Center, it was to be with other athletes, to have a good coach and to have a very good structure. Like, we have a lot of staff who help, and we can just focus on BMX, and that's helped me a lot.
Great to hear from Zoe Glassons there, one of those riders at the World Cycling Centre, developing the athletes, developing the sports. And it's not just for our riders at the very top of the sport. We've got lots of developing riders who are maybe making the way from lots of different countries.
你好，我是廖婉怡，我来自中国，我是竞速小轮车中的一员。我骑竞速小轮车已经有9年时间，然后在2024年11月来到 WCC， 在这里我可以更专注于我的训练，然后在中国可能就是训练还有其他别的生活方式娱乐，但是在这边我更想要在这里好好训练，我把所有的注意力都放在了训练上。WCC 这个团队里面对于我的帮助是有很大的提高吧，就是在原本的顶端，在顶端上我还可以再往上走一点质的变化。这是我第一次参加世界杯比赛，然后我希望在这场世界杯比赛中能取得更好的成绩，能跑出自己最大的水平。在我的未来中，我希望我能出来多参加几场像这样比赛、大型比赛的世界杯比赛，然后我更加希望在未来上我能站在最高的领奖台上。我更希望中国能走进欧洲，能把 BMX 发展得更好。
Wherever our riders are from in the world, they're going to be putting aside preparations. Their warm-ups in the tents are done. They're now ready to race 2 more rides. We've got the semi-finals, then we're into the finals, and then we're going to see who is going to come out on top here, Rich, at round number 2. Amazing action in our qualifiers, last chance qualifiers, through the 8th finals and into those quarterfinals.
Right, just taking a look back at the quarterfinals here, round number 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup in Sarrians, and it was all action early doors. Saya Sakakibara of Australia leading out Talia Burford through that first turn, and Manon Veenstra working her way up into that second spot, but Sienna Pal wasn't far behind, and it wasn't long till she made her move in that corner, passing Indisch keepers of the Netherlands and holding on to that 4th spot as they came into the final turn. So it was Australia 1 and 4 in that particular quarter-final. All smiles as they went across the line. Manon Veenstra picking up that 2nd spot behind Saya Sakakibara.
And Veenstra looking very, very good. Back to form. Talia Burford, great result for her top 3 there, making her way in and through.
Yeah, definitely. It's a game of consistency in the World Cup Series. You know, there's 6 rounds to play with, and it's all to play for. Next up in those quarterfinals, it featured Bethany Shriver. Bethany and Saya were drawn together in round number 1, and it was a very, very even race. So we're expecting even more from these riders as we venture through the semi-final stages. And Bethany got herself out in front of Maylene Kelstrup. She was the 2022 world champion in under 23. She's made the move up to the elite ranks, and she was there just behind Bethany with Leah Brindong, the local favourite. The French fans going absolutely wild for her, making her way through this quarterfinal. She was there in that 4th spot. The American rider just going out in 5, but Bethany Shriver taking the win in the quarterfinal.
And good to see Shriver back to her best. Really disappointed with round 1. Coming back and has really depressed and reset in an amazing way.
Yeah, she definitely did. Moving on to the men elite quarterfinals, Ross Cullen of Great Britain there on the inside. Didn't get the result that he wanted in round 1, but certainly made up for it in the quarterfinal. In round number 2, he was followed out of that turn by Jeremy Rencarel and Mathis Rago-Richard, who's had a phenomenal weekend in Sarrians so far, picking up that top 5 position in round number 1, and he was right there in round number 2. But one rider just sticking the front wheel and getting involved, a master in the turns. It's Drew Polk. He's not scared to make his moves, and he made one earlier on in the lap, held it on for that 3rd place, went through, took that 3rd spot for the USA, and Mathis Rago-Richard in there in 4.
Rago-Richard, good round for him, good to see him coming back, and good round 1, doing well, getting through in round 2 so far. Cullen, though, looking very much back to his best again. Day 2 working well for both of those GB riders. The French have got strength in depth. It's a French track. We're on home turf for many of these riders. It has shown, hasn't it, in the elites? Yeah, it definitely has. No more so than Arthur Pilard, who took the win in round number 1. Is Sylvain Andre also on the podium in round 1, and it was a big mix-up in that 2nd corner there as they came towards it, and it was Pilard leading them through. There was a battle going on. Cameron Wood of the USA tried to stick the elbow in on Sylvain Andre, couldn't quite make it stick. That took him down. It took Michael Bias of New Zealand with him. Meanwhile, Arthur Pilard, no such problems for him. He was heading across the line out there in front. Andre made it in as well, as did Mateo Carmona Garcia and Hugo Marzalak. And some real tangles. We've seen quite a lot of riders come down in a number of the 8s and a number of the quarterfinals. The great medic teams looking after the riders as always, but a real mix of results that are right up there, and some great results, riders getting those results and other riders tangling. But that is BMX, and that's what we love about it.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So great to see some of the action from our earlier rounds here today. We're going to be bringing you the semi-final and the finals. The heat here, it's absolutely scorching, and we're going to see our riders scorch down that track very shortly indeed in our semi-finals here at round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Round 2. So here at the UCI BMX Racing World Cup in round 2, we're on to our semi-final stage here. We will be running through our semi-finals and into our finals to see who's going to come out on top. First off, the women's under 23 semi-finals. It's heat number 1. The first of those semi-finals, and this could be a final in itself almost with the riders that we've got packed into the first of these.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Emily Hope, Michelle Vissing, Ava Corley, Maria Favrel, all in the same semi-final. There's 4 Americans in this one as well. 1 neutral athlete in Alexandra Simashkina. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it turns out. Numbers in favour of the USA in this particular one with 4 athletes, but, you know, it's all about the 4 that come across the line.
So 4 riders through, making the way from our semi-finals in each of our semi-finals into that final. Top 4 critical positions here today, here in our semi-finals. It's time to go racing here at Sarrians.
First of the semi-finals for women under 23, heading down the hill. 4 places up for grabs in the main event. One of the Americans has been shuffled out of the back of the pack already as they go in and out of the turn. It's Derry Merton out in front, Marie Favrel in there in 2. Let's have a look where the rest of the riders are, and out of the running at the moment. Michelle Vissing and Emily Hutt are outside of the top 4, so we might be having shocks galore in this one. 2 Americans in there at the minute. It's Merton leading it into the turn. Favrel's in there in 2. Oh, elbows being thrown in the final corner. People are banging and clashing together. Emily Hutt has worked her way in almost from nowhere, as has Michelle Vissing. All kinds of mix up in the final turn, and 3 of the Americans have ended up going out.
4 riders subject to a photo finish there out. The 8 riders on the track shows just how close it was in that race there, and some real moves to get in, to make the way in through up onto the straight there. I mean, fantastic result, but my goodness me, not the easiest of days out for anybody.
Yeah, Ava Corley's lap was almost over before they got to the first turn. She got tangled up going down that first straight. Derry Merton in control with Favrel at that point, but there was 4 of them together as they came into the turn. You had to pick your lines. Smashkina tried to go up and underneath, and that allowed Emily Hutt just to take advantage of everybody else slowing up. She dived underneath, took that third. Michelle Vissing made it in as well. Wow, big moves going on in the final corner.
So the first of our women's semi-finals done. What a race, and just some double checking going on to make sure the confirmed result is going to be correct here, as you would expect. And when we come to a World Cup, a fantastic track here, having that timing already installed, as well as having that pro gate and the 8 metre gate, a track that a lot of people spent time training on. It certainly paid off for Marie Favrel, one of our 4 qualifying riders going through. Favrel, Merton, Hutt and Vissing. Vissing, interestingly, not right up at the top, and that is a little bit of a shuffle around from our previous 8th and quarter finals, so starting to see things change around a little.
Yeah, it means that she's not going to get a good gate pick for the final. Right, just checking out the riders on the top of the hill, just waiting for the nod from our commissaires. Bring themselves down into the gate. Veronika Stariska in this one, the Latvian world champion, opting to be out in gate number 8 again, the 502. Sabina Korsakova from the Czech Republic. Very experienced on the World Cup level. Does a bit of mountain bike and punt track as well, so a very versatile athlete. Betsy Bax of Great Britain in gate number 3. Lily Greenoff of New Zealand right there on the inside. She made the final in round number 1, came in 7th spot. Riders just keeping themselves focused and ready. The goggles going on, which is the universal sign of it's time to go.
Well, the riders being readied in the start, they'll get that indication to go. The gate will drop, the moment of nerves is there, and that long hold, Rich, they'll all be used to it. It's just normal on racing, whether there's been an incident. Getting this start right, critical to move through.
We are going the second semi-final for women under 23. Greenoff on the inside. 1 rider's already hit the deck as they go down the first straight. I've got a feeling that was Clara Rouget who went down as they head towards turn number 2. Betsy Bax is right in the middle of the pack, and Laura Mouget is in there in that second spot, but she's under pressure from Korsakova. It's Greenoff, Korsakova, Mouget. Calvas Garcia has been passed by Betsy Bax of Great Britain, so the Great Britain rider in that final qualifying spot right now, but there's a big queue. 1 rider dives underneath, that is the Spanish rider Calvas Garcia. Is Betsy Bax going to make it in? It's going to be a close finish at the line. Greenoff, Korsakova, Moujet, Stariska getting in there as well. She left it so late. I honestly thought it was going to be Calvas Garcia, but the Latvian world champion has made her way through to the final. Wow, wow, wow. Great racing there from the women under 23 in that second semi-final. Veronica Stariska shows why she's the world champion, takes that experience in the rainbow jersey, puts it to good use as we look at the slow-mo, and it was Clara Rouget of France who hit the deck on that first straight. Lily Greenoff in control as they came out of turn number 1, and Laura Mouget was looking really good at this point till Kotsakova came past. Betsy Bax of Great Britain had worked her way up into a qualifying position, but the riders were stacked up behind her and looking for a way through. Stariska left it really late, threw that bike at the line and did enough to take that final spot in the main event.
So the first of our semi-finals saw Marie Favrel, Darren Merton, Emily Hurt and Michelle Vissing go through, joining them confirmed now. Lily Greenoff, Sabina Korsakova, Laura Mouget and Veronica Stariska, who did indeed leave it very late to the line. You can see only less than 0.2 of a second between Stariska and Calvis Garcia, with Bax coming through right at the same 10th of a second. Incredibly close. That is really leaving it down to the wire. The riders want to get through at the front. Not always possible, but they've got to keep pushing. So that is our women's under 23 semi-finals done and dusted. The riders are way up at the top of the hill for the next race start.
Yeah, moving on to men under 23. Pierre Gis of France. He's in lane number 2. He's got Jason Nordam, the winner of round number 1 here in Sarrians, right there next to him. Alexis Pikanowski in the middle of the gate number 4, and we've got James Cutter-Williams on the outside in gate 7. This one's set to be a superb first semi-final for the men under 23 as they get themselves settled into the gate.
Can Jason Nordam do it again? That's a big question. It was the Netherlands win on round number 1 in the under 23 women and in the men. They're really going to be looking for that this time around, but the pressure is on.
Yep, Jason Nordam in the key position on the inside in this short first straight here at Sarrians, shorter than the likes of Papendal. You've got a little bit less time to get yourself over if you're on the outside to take that whole shot. And the action moves to the men under 23 semi-finals, heading down the hill. Nordam's not had the start he wanted, but he's there or thereabouts as they come out of the turn. Goossens, Nordam, Faré, Pierre Gis out in front. The French are going 1 and 2 at the moment. Pikanowski on the outside looking in. Oh, one rider goes down. That's Hayuchi, the Japanese rider, who's gone down in the corner. Looks like Tim Goossens is in there in second. Jason Nordam in a qualifying position. It looks like the Netherlands and France bringing it to the line. Away we go. Jason Nordam takes the win. Pierre Gis in 2, Faré in 3, Tim Goossens in 4. Pikanowski out in 6, the European champion out at the semi-final stage.
I had to try and break into that deadlock up at the top there. Absolutely incredible. Good to see Kiyoshi back up onto the wheels, rolling his way around the track there. And that really did come down to the end there. The start there for Nordam, not what he wanted.
No, it certainly wasn't. Pierre Gis had moved himself over, but Nordam used all his experience just to slide underneath and get into a top 4 position in that turn. Pikanowski was on the outside. He was looking for a way around. Goossens came underneath, as did the Japanese rider, and it all got tangled up there or thereabouts. Leclerc was getting involved, I think, with Pikanowski as they came out of turn number 2. Meanwhile, Jason Nordam was working his way down the straight. He'd worked his way through past the 2 French riders, crossed the line, bounced that bike. He knew he'd done a good job there.
32.007, the time shown on our timing screens at the moment for his heat, and that's confirmed now on your screens. So Jason Nordam, the first of those qualifiers through, along with Pierre Gis, Matteo Favre and Tim Goossens. Those 4 riders will be moving from our semi-finals in the men's under 23 to our finals. Who will join them? Which 4 riders out of the 8 lined up at the top of the hill are going to be down there? A tough pick to pick 4 from here, particularly with the way that the racing is going. The wind is a little bit more bloodstreak. The riders are really on edge. And it's round 2. It's the last day here in Sarrion. they've got to make it count.
They definitely have got to make it count. Joshua Jolly, the junior world champion, there on the inside, but next to him, he's got the 5.55. One of the rising stars of the French BMX scene, Zian Lemay. He's in there right next to him. The Latvian rider Langmanis in gate number 3. Clement Rocheroux, another one of those up-and-coming riders in gate number 4. And then you can't count out the likes of Jesse Asmus, who's already got a World Cup win to his name. He's out there in gate 6, but we know he's capable of getting it done when the time comes. Joshua Jolly of Australia lining himself up. There's focus behind those goggles. He'll already have a plan in his mind of what he wants to do. Just a quick adjustment of the shoes before he gets himself set in that gate. As the riders line themselves up, it's very nearly go time for semi-final number 2 of the men under 23 at round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. The second semi-finalists go. Who will be the 4 riders joining the other 4 in that final here at Sarrians? Joshua Jolly picking up the whole shot. Marcus Leth was in there in 2, but he's exited the wrong side of the track, so his semi-final is over. Jolly leading it out. Is that Metin Bronard, I think, in there in that 4th spot. Langmanis has been shuffled back that little bit. Here comes Jesse Asmus right round the outside. He's going to hold it on. He's worked his way into that 4th spot. So the Australians 1 and 4 as they come to the line. Zian Lemay's made it in as well. Jolly, Lemay, Breton, Monard, Asmus going through. Rocheroux's going to be very disappointed with that 5th spot. And disaster for Marcus Leth as they came out of turn number 1.
Yeah, Langmanis this as well, not going through. A real push from Jolly. They got him through. LeMay clearly delighted to be going through into our finals. Breton Menard moving up into 3rd spot. Jesse Asmus scraping his way in as well. A frantic race. They came down here into this first jump, and you could just see everybody wanted that same spot at the front.
Yeah, Marcus Leth just got pushed high as they came out of the turn, and that's why he exited to the right-hand side. Meanwhile, Josh Jolly was holding on to that 1st spot. Breton Monard had worked his way into 4, and here came Jesse Asmus. He went right round the outside. Langmanis tried a late move, couldn't make it stick. So Jolly, Lemay, Breton Monard and Asmus making their way through to the under-23 final.
So Tito Anfar and Marcus Leth, the riders, not making it through and over the line. Very little to choose between the 2 semi-finals in terms of time. Nordam's time, 32.007. He came through just ahead of the confirmed time for Joshua Jolly at 32.044. It's looking like it's going to be a very, very interesting race when we move on from our semi-finals into our finals. So we're here in Sarrians. It is round number 2. Some incredible race action over the course of 2 packed days of racing. Round 2 is thrilling as ever as we move through. This, Rich, promises to be an absolutely cracking race because this is going to be a real banger. So let's head our way down in towards the course. Let's get ready for the racing. So here we go. This is our semi-finals for the women's elite heat number 1. The first of our semi-finals. Sakakibara, Simpson, Kelstrup, Glaciers, Brinjar, Munoz, Vanegas, Pal and Cavallari What a lineup.
Yep, definitely a great lineup. This is going to be a superb semi-final. I can't wait to see what Saya Sakakibara and Molly Simpson get out of that gate. And you've got the winner of round number 1, Zoe Clayson's, out there in round 5. This is going to be a superb semi-final.
So long hold there as they wait. Molly Simpson's been looking incredible in the early rounds earlier on. And to get to this point, can she make it count now?
Gate drops on the first of the semi-finals for the elite women. Saya Sakakibara and Molly Simpson on the inside, battling into that first turn. Here comes Sienna Pal from the outside. As they come out, it is Sakakibara and Simpson in there, 1 and 2. Where is Zoe Claysons of Switzerland? She's in there in 3, and that looks like Maylene Kelstrup, the Danish rider. One rider hits the deck as they go towards turn number 2. Front 4 are out front and clear at the minute. Saya Sakakibara leads it into the turn. Molly Simpson dives underneath, works her way into 2. Zoe Claysons in 3, Maylene Kelstrup in 4. That looks like the way they're going to finish. Claysons makes a late charge at the line. Molly Simpson holds on for the 2. Business as usual for Saya Sakakibara.
Simpson right on her heels, and we've also got Claysons and Kelstrup on the way in through. I thought that's really interesting that we saw Saya now going, don't discount me. You may have had me before. You've not got me yet. So I think we'll see. They're very quickly going to get herself refreshed, rehydrated. They're going to be heading back, ready to go into those finals. Rich, what do you make of this little bit of a shift? Simpson was ahead when we went through in those quarterfinals, and she's looked really good. So has Saya Sakakibara, but now Saya's gone. Actually, it's the semi-finals. I'm going in front.
Yeah, it's pretty much what you would expect in a semi-final. Nobody's going to give any quarters. It's been none asked or given. There was a good start as they both came out. They were pretty even. It looked like Molly just got her nose in front. Zoe Claysons was right there in the middle. Sienna Pell trying to work her way through from the outside. And it came out of the turn. Maylene Kelstrup had worked her way into that top 4 spot. As Sienna Pell, I think it was, who took the tumble just behind there. As you could see them hitting the deck. And as they came out and headed down that 3rd straight, it was Saya Sakakibara out there in the lead. Took it to the line. Simpson held on for 2. Zoe Claysons for 3. And Maylene Kelstrup making the main event. She was in there in 4.
So the crowd waiting, getting ready to go and see who will be making the way in through, who's going to be joining them. This next one is going to be an absolute banger. We do have the confirmed results coming through, just a little bit of a delay in there. Saya Sakakibara, Molly Simpson going through the top of the standings. But who will be joining them? Will it be Shriver, Smulders, Veenstra, Etienne, Burford, Vaughan, Mayer or Walker?
Yep, it's going to be a tough one. Bethany Shriver, former world and Olympic champion, in there in this one with Laura Smulders, Olympic medalist, and Manon Veenstra as well. So certainly a great array of talent lining up in this second semi-final here in Sarrians. I believe it's just started to rain that little bit as well. I'm just wondering if that's going to mix things up a touch.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's going to help down the track down. It's less dusty, but I don't think there's going to be enough moisture to come down. It's so hot. It's going to dry the moment it hits. Now, I think realistically here, I mean, you can see the crowd at the moment. They are looking at that thinking, it's not a bad thing. They've been sat out there scorching. It's okay being able to go dive into the shade in between races, but at the moment, if you're up on that hill, your focus, it's got to be on the track. It's got to be in there.
Yep, just taking a look at the riders lined up. Bethany Shriver, on the inside, on that familiar 911 plate, winner of the Olympics in Tokyo and won the World Championship in the same year. She's there in gate number 1. She's got Laura Smulders, who raced their first Olympic Games in 2012 in London, aged just 18 years old. And here she is 13 years later, still doing the business at the World Cup level.
A long time to be at the top, but you know what? It shows no sign of changing that at all. Laura Smulders, their pride ready to go.
Second semi-final for the women elites. It looks like Shriver on the inside as Laura Smulders made a mistake. I think she has. She's been shuffled back that little bit. That is Axel Etienne in there into Talia Burford. Delaney Vaughan doing it for the USA inside the top 3 right now as they head towards that second corner. Vaughan in that 3rd spot. Who's got the 4th as they come out the turn? Manon Veenstra. Veenstra under a little bit of pressure though now as they go down the straight towards the final turn. Burford's worked her way into a top 4 spot. Moves being made in the final corner. Bethany Shriver's going to take the win. Axel Etienne for 2. Delaney Vaughan for 3. Laura Smulders goes out. Talia Burford takes that 4th spot. And Manon Veenstra hasn't made it through either. All mixed up in semi-final number 2.
Big changes, big moves. Lots of differences being made on the way through there. Shriver again, though. What a difference from round 1. Round 2, onto the front, nailing it from the front. No problems at all. You just saw her flying. Axel Etienne, really good. I mean, 2nd place they're going in. She's been right in the right place. She doesn't seem to be letting it phase her, whatever's going on around her.
Yeah, Bethany Shriver had a game plan there as that gate dropped, and she knew she had to get herself out in front to be in control, not get stuck in the pack. Axel Etienne in that 2nd spot, keeping the home fans happy. Delaney Vaughan, superb lap in there in 3, and Talia Burford just stealing it away from Manon Veenstra at the line. Veenstra out in 5. As we look at the overview here of this wonderful facility here at Sarrians in the south of France. French fans very passionate about BMX. They love the sports, they love the riders.
We've been down on that straight. We've been there at Sarrians, Rich, and the crowd are immense. They're going to be wishing that they could give that energies to Etienne there, which goes through in 2nd place. Your qualifiers going through, so it's going to be Shriver, Etienne, Vaughan and Burford going through. That's our women's elite semi-finals done and dusted. We're going to move on to our men's elite semi-finals. Cullen, Pillard, Kennedy, Brink and Co. all in the very first, and they're up at the top. They know they've got a little bit of time. They can just see, just trying to stay focused. You see that head down there, and he's just trying to shut everything out, isn't it?
Yeah, Rossi's just keeping himself focused. He's put so much work in over the winter time, and it's times like these when you need to make it pay. And, Magnus Dyer there, we're next to Loris Eberhard making his 2nd semi-final of the weekend. Jamie O'Brink, one of the new breed of riders coming out of the Netherlands. So there's a real mixed bag here in these semi-finals. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next.
It's going to be an absolute flyer. I think we've got the potential here, realistically, of having an upset, maybe having a surprise because of the way that the track is racing and the way the riders are going. Cullen's looked really good on the inside. Pillard has looked absolutely imperious, superb as well. Kennedy's going well. Jamie O'Brink is getting in there as well. But Sylvain Andre, he's getting bashed. He got bumped earlier on, and yet he's still there.
Yeah,
and he's not letting him face him. You could pick any 4 of these riders and not be surprised that they go through.
Absolutely not at all. And Sylvain Andre, obviously, he's already made one World Cup final this weekend. Took that 3rd place in round number 1. Isaac Kennedy in 2nd in round number 1. So 2 of the podium riders from round 1 in this semi-final. And you've got Ross Cullen on the inside and the winner as well, Arthur Pillard. It's set to be an absolute stormer of a semi. The elite men are go semi-final number 1. 4 of these riders will be in the final of round number 2. Who's it going to be? In and out of the turn we got Arthur Pillard out in front. That looks like Jamie O'Brink in there in 2. Ross Cullen not in the qualifying positions at this moment in time. Sylvain Andre's in there in 3. Isaac Kennedy in 4 as they go towards the final turn. Pillard picking up where he left off in round number 1. Looking good. Andre's charging to the line. Kennedy in there as well. Pillard, Brink, Andre, Kennedy. Marzalak couldn't quite make it stick. Ross Cullen ends up in 7th, caught up in the middle of the pack.
So Marzalak, Dyer, Cullen and Eberhard, the riders who potentially not going to be going through. Kennedy there was looking for a way out, coming out of that final turn. There was just nowhere to go, and he was still in that scrap coming in and through the line, over the line there. Arthur Pilar going through 31.305. Fast move here. It didn't go well for Cullen from the first corner. Realistically, as they came in, you just saw him being pushed back through. But when we came in, Pilar there goes up. He knows what he wants to do. He knows where he wants to be. Kennedy can't get through. Anybody here that realistically you think is looking like they are going to be unbeatable in the final race, if such a thing exists?
Well, nobody's ever unbeatable, but Arthur Pilar's looking so good right now. You know, I'm excited to see what he's going to pull out of the bag in the final.
So at the moment, it's Pilar, Brink, Andre and Kennedy, the first 4 riders to put their names on those tickets to go through into the finals. You can see them with the green tick beside them. They know that they are going to be going into our finals. Marslick, Cullen and Eberhard not making it in to the finals this time around, but they will be scoring valuable points in that series standings that will roll its way through to Papendal in round 3. Let's move on to the second of our men's elite semi-finals, and again another race where many of these riders are showing some fantastic form, maybe going better than we were expecting, Rich.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if Drew Polk of the USA can make his way into his first World Cup main, and the French well represented Eddie Clerté, Mathis Rago-Richard, Theo Touan, Jeremy Rencarel. The French fans will be so excited to see this semi-final. It's a real mix-up of talent, established and new. I can't wait to see what unfolds.
Marquardt's looking good.
He is looking very good.
He's looking back to his best almost, and we saw that last time in round 1. Is it going to be? Can he get that last little bit, that last push to get him over the line? It's going to take him from being in the finals to being back at the front.
Yeah, Simon Marquardt, I mean, his consistency. He made every single World Cup final in 2024. He knows exactly how to get it done. He's been world champion before now, so I'm expecting big things from Simon Marquardt.
Needs to just maybe make that next step.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We've got about 30 seconds to find out if it's going to be his day or not. Mathis Rago-Richard out there in gate number 5, finished 5th in round number 1. Drew Polk, his second semi-final of the weekend. Will it be his first World Cup main event? I believe he's already done enough to qualify himself for the World Championships team for the USA, so he's already had almost a win this weekend. He'll be a happy man no matter what.
And those selections really critical, as is the racing here in Sarrian and at Papendal in that run-up to the World Championships in Copenhagen in Denmark.
The second semi-finalists go for the elite men heading down the hill. Who's going to be the first into the turn? Jeremy Rencarel looking good. Where is Diego Arboleda? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 riders gone, I think. Maybe even 5. It's going to be a scramble to see who can pick up the bike first and get into that final qualifying position. But certainly Jeremy Rencarel and Simon Marquardt out there in front. I think that's Eddie Clerté in there in 3. So the front 3 are out in clear. I didn't quite catch who was the rider in 4. Bringing it to the line. Clerté sends it across the finish line. Who's going to get that 4th qualifying spot? We need to see who's going to cross. It's Theo Touan of France. Absolute carnage in turn number 1. We'll have to look at the replay to work out exactly what happened. Oh, craziness in the semi-finals.
Definitely a surprise result, and we are just saying to the rider who should be going through, just watches the riders come down at the moment. Arboleda just rolling his way down that straight, waves to the crowd and gives them some appreciation. It's always great to have the crowds down there. Do make sure you get yourself down to your local BMX track and get some BMX racing watched in the best place right beside the track.
Definitely so much action in that semi-final. Theo Touan of France, the first rider to pick himself up from the pile-up in the first turn, getting the congratulations. There was so much going on. Can't wait to see the replay to find out exactly what happened. Drew Polk couldn't make his way through, and we'll get a quick look at it now as they come out of the gate. Polk looking like he didn't quite get the start that he wanted, but we know he's capable of making moves in the turns. And in we came. Did somebody slide out? No, I think there was a nudge. It might have been Rago Richard, I think, who got out of shape. Took Carmona Garcia with him too and went off the track. Drew Polk hit the ground as well. Meanwhile, Jeremy Renkerel holding it wide open into the final turn. Simon Marquardt in there in 2. A little jump of exultation from Eddie Clerté taking the 3, and he was 2 and in the 4.
I'll tell you something, 5 riders affected by that chain reaction from Rago Richard. And it was about who was affected least by that to come through to take that 4th spot, and that was Theo Tuan. You can see him in the 4th of our qualifying spots behind Clerté Marquardt and race winner Renkerel. They're the 4 riders from the 2nd of our men's elite semi-finals that will be joining Arthur Pillard, Jamie Brink, Sylvain Andre and Isaac Kennedy in those men's finals. BMX racing is thrills, it spills, it's emotional highs, it's emotional lows. You've got that massive explosive effort as well, and that really is almost a reflection, isn't it? We see such big highs and such big lows. Dealing with that is always part of the game. Got to say a massive thank you to our medics teams here who look after our riders, always take the best precautions on the way through, and do make sure that you give those riders your support as well. It is always appreciated. I don't think many people who ride a bike at some point haven't had a little scrape or a slide or a fall, and so really is important to look after those riders and give them loads of support on the way through. So let's move from our semi-finals. We're going to move across. It's just our finals left. So it's final times here at the second round of the 2025 UCI BMX Racing World Cup. We are here in Sarrians, and the women's under 23 final will kick off the run of 4 finals. A real star-studded list of riders, Rich. A real race on our hands here. Are we going to see something of a surprise? Can Michelle Vissing come back to the top, because she's been at the top all the way through, and then last time out just not quite where we would expect her?
Yeah, it's a real mix of nations in this final as well, which is great to see. Michelle Vissing out in gate number 6, so she hasn't got the prime pick of being in the lane number 1 this time. That honour goes to Lily Greenoff. Favrel's in there in 2, Darren Merton in 3. Veronica Stariska has opted to be somewhat towards the outside again in lane number 7, and Emily Hutt of Great Britain in the middle, more or less, in gate number 5. So it depends. There's going to be a lot of factors at play, but certainly, Michelle Vissing, if she's going to do it, it's going to have to be from the outside.
And you can just see the riders there picking their gate, so they go through in their order as they've been seeded, and then that's that gate pick, and that's where they're choosing, they're selecting which gate. That's the order. They declare that at the base of the hill. It's put into the computer system, and then they make their way up to the top of the hill to go into the gate for race start.
Yeah, we do, and we see Michelle Vissing there in gate 6, Emily Hutt of Great Britain in lane number 5. Gate number 4 on that 5.02 plate, that is Sabina Korsakova of the Czech Republic. The 5.48 just nods. She's ready to go. She's excited. It's Darren Merton of the US of A. Gate 2, local favourite. They'll make some noise for their rider. That's Marie Favrel of France. And in gate number 1 on the inside, second final of the weekend. Will it be the first win for Lily Greenoff? The first of our finals are underway. The women are under 23 heading down towards the first turn. Lily Greenoff on the inside, but she's got Michelle Vissing right there next to her. Favrel's worked her way into that second spot, and that looks like Darren Merton in there in 4th. Emily Hutt of Great Britain in 5, but she's starting to make some moves. Lily Greenoff of New Zealand out in front. Michelle Vissing is creeping ever closer as they go to the final corner. Works her way out in front, closes the door. Emily Hutt's dived underneath. It's a 3-way battle as they head towards the line. Who's going to get into the stripe? Vissing and Hutt going 1 and 2. Greenoff in 3, Stariska in 4. Emily Hutt came so close, but Michelle Vissing makes it 2 from 2 for the weekend.
Looked like a clear-cut two-way race at the front, then all of a sudden 4 riders together, and then Vissing comes into that drag race, goes out the other side. She's got the power, she's got the pace, she comes over. What a result for her, and that means out of the 2 rounds, it's 2 wins. What a start to her campaign for the BMX Racing World Cup for 2025. She must somewhere have dreamed of this, because achieving this, it takes passion, it takes belief, and you've got to want it.
Yeah, certainly, Michelle Vissing, she was out there in gate 6, so she would have had a work cut out from the start, but she worked her way across. Merton was right in the middle of it, and Lily Greenhoff made the most of that inside line and took the whole shot. Favrel dived underneath into that second spot. Vissing just worked her way through down that second straight, and at this point, Emily Hutt had come from 6th to 5th to 4th, and she was on the outside, lining it up, made a picture-perfect move to dive underneath out of that final turn. It was a 3-way drag race down the final straight. Michelle Vissing just kept her nose in front, took it. Emily Hutt wondering what could have been, but a great lap from her to pick up that second place.
So Michelle Vissing takes her second victory in 2 rounds of the World Cup here. So Vissing in top spot, 35.746. A fantastic result for her, ahead of Hutt and Greenhoff, who will round out our podium ahead of our world champion. But it's time to hear from our race winner.
Michelle, many congratulations. 2 finals this weekend in Sarrians, and you've won both of them. What does it mean to do this double for you?
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't this before, and it's my first time winning 2 World Cups in a weekend. I'm really happy.
We can see you're out of breath. You put a lot into that final. Talk to us about the 3rd straight, because you weren't winning until after that 3rd straight. How important was it, and what did it take for you to get ahead?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm second. Let's give all in the 3rd straight. And yeah, I made it.
And please, for our Dutch viewers, one answer in Dutch about today's victory and how pleased you are with your weekend.
Ja, ik ben super blij dat ik 2 wins heb gehaald dit weekend. En bedankt aan iedereen.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, great to hear from Michelle Vissing there, and what a weekend. So in terms of the under-23, we've had 3 under-23 finals in the first 2 rounds so far, and it's been an orange jersey on the top. It's basically been the Netherlands taking victory there. So let's go to our flower ceremony for our riders. The top 3 here today in the under-23 women's competition at round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup, with Lily Greenhoff, the early race leader, taking away 3rd place. In 2nd place, the British national champion Emily Hutt taking top spot. The champion from the Netherlands, it is Michelle Vissing. A great weekend, a lead in the overall standings as well as she goes for 4s, even with my appalling mass. I can do that and tell you she's well in the lead of the standings, and that is where she wants to be. She's in the driving seat. It's now about going to Papendal in the Netherlands. What a return that's going to be. The crowd are going to go off the scale when she appears on track.
I think so. As we move on to the Ben under-23 final, Nordum, Jolly, Gis, Lemay, Fare, Goossens, Brettin Monard and Jesse Asmus. Great lineup for the men under-23 final here at round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Gate number 8 for Australia on the 500 plate. It is Jesse Asmus. Gate 7 out of France, it's Arthur Brettin Monard. Gate 6 in the familiar orange jersey of the Netherlands, it's Tim Goossens. Gate 5, French favourite, looking good, it's Matteo Fare. Gate number 4 on the 555, it's Zian Lemay. Gate 3 on the 546, Pierre Gis. And there is Jason Nordam, winner of round number 1. He's looking to make it 2 from 2.
Okay, rider, random start. Rider is ready, watch the gate.
The men under 23 leave the gate here in Sarrians. It looks like Nordham into the turn. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 riders hitting the deck. It's left it absolutely wide open, and Nordham and Asmus are out there in front. Looks like Pierre-Gis, I think, in there in that third spot it is. But Nordham of the Netherlands looking like he's going to make it 2 from 2. Here in Sarrians, all the action was in turn number 1. No such problems for Jason Nordham. Jesse Asmus in 2, Pierre-Gis in 3. Josh Jolly wondering what could have been in that 4th spot. But it all went wrong in turn number 1 for 4 of those riders.
Oh, it's a double Dutch double. They've gone and done it. I tell you something, that was an incredible ride. Absolute explosion of riders on that corner. 4 riders taken out of contention. So LeMay, Favre, Goossens and Breton Monard, the riders not making through, the leading 4 going in and through. What a ride though there by Nordham. I mean, he exploded out of the gate. He came down, his start was the fastest and he just kept it going.
Yeah, he certainly did, and we got to that first turn, and you know when 8 riders go into a corner like that, it's going to be a case of all action, and it was certainly in that particular instance. As the riders came out of the gate, Joshua Jolly not quite getting the start he required. Nordham was right in there, and we'll get an idea of what happened in turn number 1 and who caused the chain reaction, so to speak. It looked like, I think it was Matteo Favre who hit the deck first. He started off, everybody else ending up on the floor. There's not a lot you can do when you're travelling at that speed. Meanwhile, Nordham and Asmus were out there in 1. Pierre-Gis was in 3. And Nordham must have known at this point that he was going to be his day yet again. Asmus did everything he could to catch him as the line. Second place, not a bad day's work for the Australian. High fives all around. They know they've got big points going into round number 3 in Papendal.
And that really is going to make things exciting as we go onwards. We're going to see the under-23 winners on home turf in the Netherlands. Jason Nordham taking the win, confirmed there ahead of Jesse Asmus in second, and Pierre-Gis in 3rd place. And Zian Lemay and Matteo Fora, I think we just saw them fist pumping just as they came off the track. So it looks like everybody pretty much okay on the way out there. Jolly down into 4th position. He won't be on our podium, but what a ride by Jason Nordham, our race winner here today. It's going to be an incredible return to Papendal. Let's hear what our race winner has to say.
Jason, many congratulations. A double for you here in Sarrians this weekend. Just talk to us about your strategy, because you were fastest all day. There was no coming second or third for you. You won all the way through today. How did you approach today's racing?
I just were keeping it calm and try to be consistent every time.
And for you and for your country person, Michel Vissing, it's 2 Dutch wins in 2 days. What does that mean for your team?
I think it's a big achievement for us all, and we keep training harder and get more victories together with all the team.
Next up's Papendal. How do you feel about approaching that? Obviously, there's maybe some more pressure on you.
No, there wouldn't be more pressure on me. I'm just riding like I can and try to do my best.
And finally, again, for our Dutch viewers, please, one answer in Dutch.
Dank jullie wel voor het kijken. Ik hoop dat jullie allemaal naar Papendal komen en een mooie show neerzetten.
Thank you, Jason.
Well, I'm sure we will be enjoying the show in Papendal. What a great answer from our race winner. So the top 3 riders here in our men's under-23 down there in front of the backdrop. The flowers first of all going to Pierre-Gis, taking away 3rd place here at round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Jesse Asmus, a 2nd place here today behind Jason Nordham. Right at the front, right at the top. And I tell you something, there was no ghost ship today. He was the Flying Dutchman. He absolutely nailed that. I mean, what a ride.
Yeah, he certainly did nail it, did Jason Nordham. You know, 2 wins on a World Cup weekend. It doesn't get any better than that.
And consistently all the way through the day has been super, super quick. That's the consistency that all our riders want.
Yeah, as we move on to the Women Elite Final, featuring Bethany Shriver, Saya Sakakibara, Molly Simpson, Axel Etienne, Zoe Claessens, Delaney Vaughan, Malin Kelstrup and Talia Burford. More action coming up here in Sarrians in France, the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Out there in gate number 8 on the 25, representing Switzerland, it is Talia Burford. Gate 7, the 2022 Under-23 World Champion, Malin Kelstrup. The winner of round number 1 here at Sarrians, Zoe Claessens. Local crowd favourite Axel Etienne right there in gate number 5. Delaney Vaughan of the USA, calm and prepared in gate 4. Gate 3, the reigning World Cup and Olympic champion, it's Saya Sakakibara. Gate number 2, out of Canada, looking to put daylight between herself and the rest of the competition, it's Molly Simpson. And in gate number 1, the former world and Olympic champion from Great Britain, Bethany Shriver.
Shriver into 1, taking gate 1 where she wants to be. Simpson flying. Saya Sakakibara looking to better that second place in round 1. This is going to be a banger.
And we are go with the Women Elite Final here at Sarrians. Who's going to be the first into the turn? Molly Simpson picking up the whole shot. She's in there in 1, Zoe Claessens in 3, and Bethany Shriver of Great Britain in there in 2. That looks like Delaney Vaughan inside the top 4. Saya Sakakibara back there in 6 at the minute, but it looks like Molly Simpson of Canada is extending a lead. She's going to take a World Cup win here at round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. It's all about Molly Simpson and Canada taking the win. Simpson takes it, Shriver in 2, Delaney Vaughan in 3, Axel Etienne in 4, and Molly Simpson top step of the podium here in Sarrians.
What a ride by Molly Simpson. She was battling with Shriver to go into that first to get that whole shot. You could see they were drag stripping. You could see what it means for her. What a ride, and great to see Bethany Shriver go up to Molly Simpson there and give her the congratulations. No surprises. And they raced so hard. That was such a fight on the way through. But I tell you something, that is one proud Canadian with that maple leaf there, proudly displayed on that red and white jersey. What a result for her. Axel Etienne, the local rider. We heard the cheer at the shout at the start of the race going up, but what a result. Canada, the team, going to be very, very happy with that.
They're going to be very happy. Molly Simpson, she took 3rd in round number 1 here, and she's followed it up with a win on day number 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. You know, first World Cup win for Molly Simpson. Look at the delight on her face. She's so pleased. Let's look back at how she did it. Came out of the gate, got a great start. Shriver was right there next to her. She was about half a bike length behind as she got into turn number 1. Simpson just popping off an absolute heater of a start, and she never really looked back. The gap started to extend as she came out of turn number 2. There was clear daylight between herself and the rest of the pack, and she must have known at this point she couldn't hear anybody else around her. She knew the victory was hers. Bethany Shriver making up for a poor round 1 with a 2nd place in round 2, and Delaney Vaughan of the USA rounding out the podium.
So Molly Simpson's win there, taking victory after taking away 3rd place in round number 1. Moves on to the top step of that podium ahead of Shriver and Vaughan. Etienne coming through in 4th place. Sakakibara in 5th. Zoe Claessens, the winner of round 1, in 6th position with Kelstrup and Burford rounding out your finalists here. Winning time 34.555 seconds as we saw a race winner come in and through the line. I'll tell you something, great return for Bethany Shriver. Not to be her win today, but she did a fantastic ride in there and pushed our race winner all the way. You can see the congratulations. It's going to be big smiles when we hear from our race winner.
Molly Simpson, World Cup champion of round 2. How does that sound? We can see the emotions. Just put into words what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It was a perfect day, and I made a bet with my coach a few years ago. I said when I win my first World Cup, he's got to dye his hair red. So I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since your last podium on the World Cup Series, and yesterday you got bronze, today gold. What's changed this year for you?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm really coming into my own, and I'm where I want to be, and I want to keep pushing. And also I had a teammate crash yesterday, and I said I was going to ride for her, so it means so much more.
Molly, well done. Thank you very much, and we look forward to you claiming your bet.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I can't wait to go to Papendal in that sea of orange. We're in the Netherlands. We're going to be seeing some red hair from Molly Simpson's coach. I'll tell you something, great coaches help, but amazing talent and determination in there. And that bet was when I win, not if I win.
Yeah.
And that says everything. You've got to have that confidence. Great result for her, and great to see just how happy she was.
Yeah, very, very happy indeed, Molly Simpson. She's been on the cusp for a while. It's good to see her get it done finally.
So our top three riders assemble, ready for our flower ceremony for the race here today. As you can see, taking away third place, and a great race result there. Delaney Vaughan of the United States of America in third place, Bethany Shriver in second place, and Molly Simpson taking away race victory here today. And that should put it up at the top of the standings. We'll have to wait to find out, and all the maths is done. But a win today, and that has made her day, and making up for the crash of a teammate as well. And that's never something good, but you can take inspiration from it. And she was racing there and clearly fulfilled absolutely everything she wanted, taking top spot. Great race there, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely what we would expect from a World Cup final. Couldn't have been any better. Molly Simpson taking the spoils.
So let's move over to the men's elite final here today. Pilar Renkerel Brink, Andre Marquardt, Kennedy Clerté and Thuen. The riders going into our finals, and as you can see, 5 French riders in those finals. 1 rider from Switzerland, 1 from the Netherlands, and 1 from Australia. They're going to have their work cut out here in Sarrians in France. The gate pick being done down the bottom, the results of that gate pick being entered. You can just see sign language being used simultaneously as the riders are being readied and being pulled up to the top of the start hut. Rich, it's not a dark eye, is it? Usually most riders have a favourite,
yeah,
but it does change. Some riders are quite happy to mix it up.
Yeah, they are. It's a case of, I think, when you're in a World Cup final, you do what you need to do. You play the percentages, you choose your gate according to where you are, and the closer you are to the inside, especially on a track like this with a short first straight, the better. As we move to the top of the hill, and in gate number 8 on the outside, the 55, the French rider Theo Tuan. Gate number 7, also out of France, comes from good BMX racing stock. It's Eddie Clerté. Gate number 6, the 2022 Elite Men World Champion. It is Simon Marquardt from Switzerland. And gate 5, the reigning World Cup champion from Australia, Isaac Kennedy. Gate 4, Olympic medalist, crowd favourites, BMX icon, it's Sylvain Andre. Gate number 3, hoping to carry on the Dutch tradition of winning big, is Jamie O'Brink. Gate 2 on the 82, had a World Cup win in Glasgow, it's Jeremy Renkerel. And gate number 1 on the inside, the European champion, the winner of round number 1 here at Sarrians. Will he make it too? It's Arthur Pilard. The crowd will fall silent for the start. The elite men are heading down the hill here in Sarrians, round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Who's going to pick up the whole show? It is Arthur Pilard, Sylvain Andre going 1 and 2. Eddie Clerté's in there as well. We're looking for Isaac Kennedy. He's inside the top 4. Andre has a quick peek just to see who's at the side of him as they head down towards the final corner. Here comes Andre on the inside of Pilard. The move is coming. Sylvain Andre steals away the first place. Looks like he's going to take the win. Andre takes it. Arthur Pilard in 2. Isaac Kennedy rounds out the podium. Tuan in 4. Brink in 5. Marquardt in 6. But Sylvain Andre one of the most popular riders in BMX, takes that win, and the crowd go wild.
What a race. You can see picking himself back up is Eddie Glerte after coming down on that straight and coming out of contention. However, what a ride there by Sylvain Andre. Great to see him back on top spot, coming out of the middle of that gate and making his way down. A real fight as well behind him, and Sylvain Andre looking absolutely imperious.
Yeah, and if you think at one point his career might have been over after that injury he suffered in Santiago del Estero in Argentina, suffered a serious arm injury, his career was in jeopardy. He's gone through a long healing process, came back, took a medal at the Olympics, then comes to Sarrians, wins in front of family and friends. It doesn't get any better. Sylvain Andre cements his position as one of the most popular riders, not only in French BMX, but in the world.
And the family there to see it. How much will that inspire the next generation of Andres? You never ever know. We do see it running through the families. You see it down at your local BMX track, at the National Series, at the World Cups. We see generations of riders coming through in BMX racing. You can see he's going to head over to that last straight. As coming in the opposite direction goes Jeremy Renker, another of those riders who came down in that finals. But look at that. That's great to see. Arthur Pillard there bigging up Sylvain Andre. The two riders from France, in France, the final race of round number 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. And what a race for France, with a French winner to round out a great 2 days of races in rounds 1 and 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup.
Yep, Sylvain Andre taking the plaudits of the crowd. I think, Matt, if I was a 9-year-old French kid racing BMX now and somebody said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think my answer would be Sylvain Andre. Delighted to see him on top of the podium again. Let's just take a quick look. We're back at the replay as they headed down that hill. Jamie O'Brink not quite getting out in front. But I honestly thought at this point, Pillard on the inside, it was going to be a repeat of round number 1. Sylvain Andre had other ideas at this point. Jeremy Renkerel in there as well. In that third spot, I think it was Isaac Kennedy in 4. And it all got a little bit mixed up as they came out of that second turn. And Andre on the inside knew he had the pace to make it in, dived underneath Arthur Pillard. And it was at this point the French knew they had a 1-2. And Sylvain Andre, one of the most popular riders in BMX, taking the win to the delight of the crowd. Isaac Kennedy in 3 offers his congratulations. 2 podiums for the Australian. I don't think he'll be disappointed with that. But it's all French here in Sarrians.
And Sylvain Andre, they're really nailing those turns. It looked like he just had that extra bit of grip. He was carrying just as much speed as anybody else. But he was able to do that lower. He was able to do that come across, choose his line, pick his line, make his move when he wanted. He didn't panic when he didn't come off on 1, 2. Came into that final corner, and you just saw him absolutely railing it. Superb. And that's the confirmed result in front of us. Sylvain Andre taking away the race win, 31.668 seconds. Arthur Pillard in second place, Isaac Kennedy in third. They're going to be your podium riders here today. Sven Brink, Mark Arclete and Ray Carell, the remaining riders who came in and through the line at the end of the men's elite final here at round 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup in Sarrion. A brilliant ride there by Sylvain Andre. We saw him take third place last time. We've now seen him take the win. It's been a great weekend. Let's hear from our race winner here at round number 2 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup.
Sylvain, many congratulations. We could see in the start gate you were trying to animate the crowd. How much have you enjoyed this victory today?
Yeah, I was trying to hype the crowd up because yesterday wasn't as good. I was expecting bigger. Sorry for my voice. I've been screaming lately. But yeah, it was good. It was a good day of racing. And I think the wind started to pick it up before final. And ultimately that's what helped me getting up by Arthur. And I'm happy I did it.
Yeah, I think everybody watching that race in the third straight thought it was Arthur's win. How did you manage to come through and pass him?
So out of the second turn, we felt the wind. And I could see like something was wrong with Arthur. I don't know, it was his bike. And he told me he kind of like slide out, exiting, and then I saw him doing the regular line I was like, okay, that's my shot. Like, I'm not gonna stay in second, you know. I've been second to him last weekend in the French Cup twice. So yeah, twice, not 3 times.
And now for our French viewers, quelques mots en français sur la victoire d'aujourd'hui, s'il vous plaît.
Bah, c'était super. On met encore 2 Français sur le podium, 5 en finale. Voilà, j'espère que vous avez tous kiffé. Et puis voilà, moi je suis content des Coupes du Monde. Ça faisait 3 ans que je n'en avais pas gagné. Donc voilà, 3-1 pour le week-end. Je pense que je suis même pas leader, mais c'est quand même pas trop mal.
Qu'est-ce qu'on peut dire sur le public français ici qui on a animé?
Ouais, le public était à fond, était plus à fond qu'hier. Honnêtement, hier, j'étais presque un peu déçu. Et là, le public était à fond, c'est cool. Il y a 5 Français en finale, quoi. S'ils sont pas à fond là, ils vont voir un autre sport.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Well, a big thank you to Sylvain Andre and thanking the crowd who were very, very animated. A fantastic race result for him and a great World Cup for France and a great rounds 1 and 2 here in Sarrians in France. That's going to wrap up the race. We're going to have our podium and flower ceremony for our top 3 riders as the stands start to empty. The riders make their way and ready themselves to move on to Papendal. Our podium riders, well, they're going to be busy. Lots of press, lots of social media as well. So make sure you do give the riders a follow. Make sure you follow the UCI BMX Racing on Facebook and on Instagram. So we are going to take a look at our top 3 here today. You can just see a thoughtful Isaac Kennedy there, the rider who has come through to take away a 3rd place here today. Taking 2nd place from France, Arthur Pilar, the winner of round number 1. But Sylvain Andre moving from 3rd up in to top spot. He didn't want to come 2nd to Pilar again, as he said in interview. Sylvain Andre, your race winner at the end of round number 2. The finals winner. The man who's going to take away potentially the most from this round at the end of the racing, Rich.
Yeah, it's been a great performance from Sylvain Andre. Like I say, he didn't want to be behind Arthur Pilar for the 2nd weekend in a row, and he's taken the win. And doesn't he look happy about it?
Well, great all weekends of racing. Of course, this is round number 2, so all those points that the riders have amassed in round 2 will be added to round number 1, and that will then give us our overall rankings. You can pick up all of the rankings on the UCI website. That's www.uci.org. So, we're going to move to Papendal. It is one of the big clubs, the big 5 sort of BMX clubs in Europe. It's a fantastic venue, and it's based within the Olympic facility for the Netherlands sport. It's an incredible venue. It's got a great start hill. We've been on the top of that start hill, you and I. So this has been an absolutely phenomenal place to race. The atmosphere is great as well. So we're just going to take a little bit of a pause whilst we wait for the end of the day here today. It's been an absolutely fantastic day of racing. Rich, your thoughts on Papendal moving forward? Are we going to see the same riders?
We're going to see the same riders, yes, but it's going to be a wide open first straight there, much longer, much more of a drag race.
So let's see if the riders who did their best here today are going to be the best in Papendal. Let's take a look back at the best moments from today's racing.
Yep, just taking a look at the Women Elite Final as Molly Simpson of Canada cemented her spot on the top of the podium. Her very first World Cup win, and wasn't she delighted? Maybe a coach less so. He's got to dye his hair red for the next round in Papendal. Bethany Shriver taking the 2. Delaney Vaughan of the USA rounding out the top 3. And Molly Simpson just taking the step she's always wanted to take, and that step is to the top of the podium. Bit of disappointment for Bethany Shriver, but she'll be happy with the 2nd place. And as we moved on to the Elite Men final, it looked like Arthur Pilar was going to make it 2 from 2, but Sylvain Andre had other ideas. These guys battle week in, week out, French Cups, World Cups, European Cups, and as they came down to the final corner, Andre made his move, dived underneath, the crowd went absolutely wild. One of the perennial favourites taking a World Cup win in front of the home fans. That's what they came for. That's what they paid for their tickets for. Isaac Kennedy in 3.
Some incredible action from our riders and some very, very fast racing. So fast racing here today, Rich, and of course one of those key things that it was always we look forward to seeing is seeing who has been able to set a fast time out on those tracks. So let's take a look at the women's under 23 standings very briefly as the riders go down that straight there. Michelle Vissing, the rider who took the fastest lap time in that women's under 23, 34.781 seconds. Vissing absolutely fine. She's got this track dialed.
Yeah, she certainly has got it dialed. The two-time winner here at Sarrians in the 2025 BMX Racing World Cup. She's also the national champion of the Netherlands. It couldn't got any better for her as we look at Jason Noordam, who continued the Netherlands domination with a fast lap of 31.269 in the men under 23 final. He's been on it all weekend long, 2 wins from 2. There's no stopping him, and when he's putting in these kind of performances and then going to a home track, it's going to be good.
And he had to fight on that finishing straight, really accelerating up to go through, and that was the lap that he put in to take that fastest lap time.
Moved on to the women elite final. Saya Kakibara of Australia. She put the fastest lap in, 33.950. Did it in an earlier round. Didn't quite get it in the final, but still, you know, the raw speed is there with Saya. She trained so hard, she worked so hard. The speed is there. She's going to bring it to bear in the next round when we move across to the Netherlands.
Which leaves us on men's elite fastest lap. And that was incredibly quick. You knew that we were going to see a fast lap. You knew that we were going to see some fast moves. And Arthur Pillard, a man who seemed to have this track absolutely down and nobody could touch him. Well, they couldn't get him on the fastest lap of 31.105. His fastest lap time. He might have been beaten in the final, but he will take some solace in the fact that he could put down that fastest lap time. So great to see our riders in action here at Sarrian. Round number 2 has not disappointed. Pillard, Noordam, Kakibara and Vissing, your fastest laps riders. You can see them on your screen now. And Rich, are we going to see the same riders when we go to Papadine in terms of fastest laps? I mean, we know Kakibara, as you said there, has got that pace and that speed, and Vissing has looked very good, as has Noordam. Pillard, maybe the one who you would say has not necessarily been at the top.
It's a different track at Papendal. It's wide open with that first straight. It's much longer, so there's a longer lap as well. So it's going to be a little bit different to Sarrians, but we're looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
So with those fastest lap times concluded, it's time for us to take a little bit of a look at the wind blowing its way in through, clearing this out and getting ready towards the end of the day. So let's take a look at our World Cup standings after 2 rounds of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Michelle Vissing leading the standings in the women's under 23 from Emily Hutt and Emery Favrel. Lena Greenhoff to making one of those finals. Stariska, the world champion, being right up there in the mix. The men under 23, well, Jason Noordam, again, top of those standings. Asmus and Bikanowski in the hunt as well, but a big gap at the top of the standings in both the women's and the men's under 23. In the elite overall, Molly Simpson, virtue of that victory, has moved ahead of Zoe Clayton, who took victory in round 1. Simpson's better placing, though, in round 1 means that she is in a second place ahead of Sayas Kakibara. In the men's elite standings, Arthur Pillard leads the standings from Sylvain Andre. Andre took the win in round number 2, but it's those points added up that give us our standings. And at third of the competition of the series, we now know who's going to be moving on to the second of those thirds, going into Papendal. 2 great days of racing. It's been amazing to be here in Sarrians, putting words to the action. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here with Rich Eames. Please make sure you get on your bike and ride. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Riders ready, watch the gate.